I'm going to give good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Bresnak. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Third Wave Business Systems. Today we're going to talk about board and the prepackaged cubes that Third Wave Business System provides. So let's get started and we'll go through the agenda. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about quick introduction to Third Wave Business Systems and myself, an introduction to board software. I'm going to do a demonstration of the board software and the prepackaged cubes that we had built for Business One. And then at the end we'll have some time for question and answer. Unfortunately, when there's more than 8 or 10 people on the call, we have to have everyone's microphone muted. So Craig's going to stay on the call, and if you have any questions, please just type it into the little box on the side that says you have a question, and Craig's going to do me a favor and monitor that, and he can either ask the questions along the way, and there'll certainly be time at the end for a quick Q&A session for any questions that you may have. An introduction to Third Wave Business Systems. We've been around since 1993, serving small, medium businesses. We're an inaugural member of the Global SAP Solution Provider staff. And then we also are on the Advisory Council. We're a SAP Gold partner in both reselling SAP and in the SSP space. We have a distinction of being a SAP Active Quality Management certification that we've had for going on 4 years now, and we were one of the first Business One partners to have that in North America. Finally, we get annual awards from SAP in both reseller space and the SSP space. As for me, my name is Mark Bresnak. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Third Wave Business Systems. I'm leading the board initiative here, and I've had about 25 years of industry experience. And the reason I talk about my title is we use board here at Third Wave Business Systems too. So not only are we folks that can implement it, but we utilize the software with SAP Business One. And some of the examples I'll give you, and I'll even incorporate some of the things that we do here at Third Wave. So let's talk about the board software first and Board Cube overview. Board's a software package that's a kind of a one-stop shopping for business intelligence, performance management, corporate performance management. The areas around the circle, from dashboarding to budgeting and forecasting to financial consolidation, profitability modeling, strategic management, analysis and simulation, reporting, and data exploration. Those are all things that we'll touch upon today. We'll be pretty heavy on the business planning and forecasting side and the financial consolidation, where we'll have some specific things there, but you'll see the ability to drill down and explore data throughout the product. And the thing that makes Board unique is we've used and resold other products, and this is really, you buy this product once and you get everything that you need under one umbrella versus having to buy additional components, whether it be publishing on the web, building dashboards. It's all under one product, and as soon as you buy it, it's all there, what you need. So quick high-level view of what it looks like when you put board in place and you start to pull data from your data sources. You'll see we'll start from the bottom to the top. You can connect a lot of different things to board, from any native connector, from SQL Server's native connectors to ODBC connectors to MDX connectors, which is the Microsoft SQL Server analysis server, to flat files, to even adapters for the large version of SAP. And you can pull that information out and put it into the board server. From there, you have a few options. In the board server, you can either put it into the MOLAP cubes, which is the preferred technique, which allows you to pull data out of SAP, for instance, and put it into cubes and then manipulate it and report on it as often as you want. Some folks have the requirement of leaving the data in place. Again, not what we normally recommend, but we can leave the data in place for some tables and then pull the data out if you need either more real-time access to that data, or if there's a need to have that data left in the transactional database. The downside to that is if you write a lot of queries and people are running a lot of things, it can affect your SAP environment. So that's why we recommend the MOLAP model. From there, you can pull that information out and you can show it through their client, which you'll see today, a web server, which is any browser that you want to connect to it. There's Office plugins. And finally, they built in the last version iOS, Android, and Windows 8 applications that allow you to connect up and see your data through tablets and gives you that access to an application, not just a browser. Board itself, and again, because we're basing a lot of this on the Board software, I wanted you to understand Board itself is a mature company. It's been around for 20-some odd years. It has offices in America, in Europe, in Asia-Pac, Australia, and it also has, and here in the United States, there's an office in Boston that gives us our local support, and they've been really great to work with. But they also have about 2,500 customers. Actually, it's getting closer to 3,000 customers around the world, and household names, even some of the bigger customers. So they've been around for a while. They've done this for a while, and the product we've been using for the last 2 years has been really solid for us and our customers. So what does a pre-pack contain? Well, again, we talked about what we've done, and you have to look at Board as a platform that you can build upon. To build out any kind of data analysis or business intelligence that you have. But what we've done to speed up adoption and to help people get up to speed quickly and get their value out quickly is we built pre-packs that plug into SAP Business One and allow you to do budgeting and allow you to do financials, multiple company financials. So you can have more than one company and you can consolidate inventory and purchasing. And we've built all those cubes. We have the views into SAP. We have the dimensions of how you can slice and dice that. We rebuilt all the readers and the data load component of it and the screens to get you started. It's not locked down. It's a one-time kind of head start for you. We can plug it in and get it going in a day and a half time frame. So this way, you could buy it on Monday and have something up running by Thursday, and at least start to pull the data out of SAP and start to budget and do the things that you want to do in a real short order. As long as you have a server to put it on and we can have access to it, we can get it up and running relatively quick. And this pre-package is meant to give you that head start and get you started. And it's not locked down, so you could change it, you could adapt it to your company later on. But that's what you'll see today is what the pre-pack has. So without any more slides, let's get into a quick demonstration. So this is the SAP budgeting, financials, inventory, sales and purchasing analysis pre-packed together. And what you'll see in this pre-pack is that we have 4 high-level menu items: budgeting, financials, inventory, sales and purchasing. You can put anything up here as you want. I put up a little chart that talks about company expenditures versus sales, and as you can see, there's a big drop-off here, but that's just our data that we have. So we'll go into budgeting first and talk about budgeting. So budgeting takes on a process. It's process flow, and the process here is initial budgeting, revenue budgeting, expense budgeting, the ability to approve sections of your budget so that they get locked down, adjust budgets once they're actually submitted, do many different scenarios, and then compare budgets versus actuals. And this is the process we put together for budgeting for our pre-pack, but this is certainly nothing in stone, and if there's additional steps that you want to have, it's certainly that the product's able to do it. In our pre-pack model, what we've done is we've taken last year's actuals and allow you to budget based on last year's actuals. So we give you some choices just to copy straight last year's actuals to this year. add 5% across the board, add 10% across the board. We also give you the ability to do some dynamic type of things where I can come in and say, all right, for sales, I want to change it by quarter, and I want to have it 7% for quarter 1, and 7% for quarter 2 and 3, and 10% for the last 2 quarters. We could change any of these, and all I have to do is key them in, save them, and then that'll be my piece. And I'm doing it for quarters, and I'm doing it at a level around the groups of the accounts that we have. So that can be put in place too, which gives you a lot of flexibility, and those times and those levels can change also. The other thing we can do is, you have all these things in place, and what I like to do is keep things simple. Is I'll pick like last year plus 10%. I can do it for all of them, like I'm going to do now for all the P&L accounts, or I can do them I can pick a group and just do revenues or cost of sales and do it that way. I'm going to do it for all just because we don't have a lot of time. And you'll see just clicking a button, now everything's up by 10% across the board. If I wanted to come into any of these and say, well, converters, that's a little aggressive, so I'm going to come here and only going to bump that one up by 5%, I can recalculate that component by 5%. So row by row, I can change those to anything I want them to be. In addition, if I want to look at my revenue group as a whole, I can just come in here, edit the whole block. I can highlight what I want to see, and I can do things like, multiply it by, 1.1, and that would bump it up another 10%. I can do, linear growth. I can make it a constant. I could add it. I could do different sections. I can lock down some of it, and others of it make changes to. So I'm just going to multiply my revenues by 10%, save it out, and now you'll see that number increased even more. So from there, we can make the high-level initial adjustments. Once that's done, we come in here, and we can look at the revenue or the expenses in this way. Again, this is just our initial way we have broken this out for our pre-pack, but if there's other ways you want to look at it and you wanted to have different people look at the different revenue groups, you certainly can do that too, and we could break this out and drop down, this thing row by row if you want it to be, or we can group them differently. So you'll see that 10% plus 110% is 21% is what we ended up increasing these things on. What this screen allows me to do is I can look at the actual, I can change the budget number, or I can change the delta number if I wanted to say, well, people buy them in hundreds, so 827 doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I can change that number. What that does is it changes the percent, and then it also changes that number. Or if I wanted to change this to 25%, that'll change that number. So I have the ability to change this any way I want. I'll come in here, I hit the little save button, and now it's saved in there. I can also come in here and look at it, and that's for the year. And so what I can do is come in here now and look at it month by month, and I can make my numbers change any way I want. What you see is that there is a technology they call the split splash technology, and if I change anything at the yearly level, it'll keep the ratios in the months the same. So if I bump this up by 10% or 100%, I can order magnitude, all of the ratios will stay across the months, and it'll just bring that in place, and it'll bump them all up accordingly. It'll spread that data across the way it was, instead of not evenly, but proportionally or seasonally or however it's spread currently. I also like to have these little charts here, because then you can start to see where actual and data, actual and budget, diverge or converge, and you can make sure that the numbers you're putting in, are not off order of magnitude. So even though the charts look nice, they do serve a purpose. Now, when I talked earlier, we talked about Excel and an Excel add-in. So at any given time, I can right mouse click and export this to Excel. And what this does is it pulls up the Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to try to show us both at the same time, and then it gives you a board add-in here. And this board add-in has a little connection. I'm logging in as administrator, but if I log in as a user, I would have the same permissions that I was given. I could see the same cubes, I could see the same dimensions, whatever permissions that were given me in the board product, I'll have the same in Excel. So what you'll see here is that the numbers match, which is great, But one of the things I also wanted to do is show you that I can make my edits and changes in here. This is 455,000. If I wanted to make this 500,000, I could do that. And what you'll see is it turns it green, and it gives me the ability to save or undo it. And as I'm changing and I'm editing my budget, it gives me the ability to at any given time undo it or save it. I put myself out of the save and undo mode, and it'll update it directly without any pause. But for demonstration purposes, I like to always put the green on there so you can see what's changed, and so we can compare the numbers. So I'm going to hit save, and that number saves to 500,000. It's not green anymore. And when you come back to here, if I refresh this screen, now that number is 500,000. So you'll see that basically the spreadsheet is just another way to enter data into the cube. When I'm done with this, spreadsheet, and a lot of people like to budget on spreadsheets, I don't have to save it. A lot of spreadsheets that I've seen over the years have some sort of error in it, whether it's a calculation error or a real error or cut and paste error. But what it does is it opens up the opportunity to have some issues. And what this allows me to do is pull that from the spreadsheet, use it as a data entry tool, but then at the end of the day, if it allows me to take that information and save it back, and I can discard this spreadsheet now because I don't need it anymore. At any given time, I could just re-export it again. Expenses, are the same way. We'll click into them real quick. In this model, we do have expenses as negatives, and
Mark, we do have one question. The question that came in: we have a very seasonal business and would need budget sales both by product line and by month. Vary the percentage increase by month as well. Is that possible?
Absolutely. In this initial budget dynamic variables, we can make this be whatever you want it to be. This could be months, and we can do product lines. So again, what we've done is we've just taken these down in these sections here, and we've done quarters. But basically, we can just drag and drop and make sure that the accounts go from quarters to months, and you can have access to however you want to see it. So not a problem. Thank you for the question now. So expenses are similar things, and the monthly expenses, again, you can look at them across the lines. We're not going to go into that too much. But what this also allows you to do is to make some approvals. Again, we can approve at sales level, freight, all of these different sections, and that's what we've given you as a starting point. But at any given time, I can say approve, reject, or reset, and if I have the permissions to do it, I can approve sales. And now the sales process is approved. If I go back into revenues, I'll have my revenue budget locked down. So now it's locked down. It's not blue anymore. I can't make any changes. All I can do is see what they are. And so this gives you the ability to control that process from approvals to to when it goes live. So and if I want to do it section by section, I could do it section by section and lock down those pieces. Once approvals happen and people have put their budgets back in, what we also do is give people the ability to come back and have the CFO or somebody make some final adjustments to all of these and look at what's what they are and make sure that the sum of the parts equal the corporate goals that we want. So if we can make sure that that's all squared away before we move forward to the scenarios, that's the main thing.
Okay, Mark, another question that just came in. Can you forecast sales at customer group level, i.e. retail, distributor, etc.?
Yep, with that, we'll get into the sales part of this a little bit, but there's a few prerequisites you have to have in order to do that. Forecasting is also different from other people, from person to person, company to company. But if you have the detail in your general ledger chart of accounts, and you can certainly forecast and budget based on those things. But with Board, which makes it unique from SAP, is we can budget at lower levels, so project levels, cost center levels, all of those different things, and then roll that up and roll it into your budget, which SAP doesn't really give you that flexibility to do so. But yeah, if we can make sure that we can segment, either through your chart of accounts or through inventory groups or through customer groups, we can certainly forecast. Sales for you. The other thing that's interesting about forecasting is, budgets are one thing, actuals are another. Here at Third Wave, what we do is we roll. We have a sliding thing. So as the year goes on, progresses, January, February, all the way through September now is in the books, and that's those are actuals, and we can show a report where that part of it's actuals, and then the remaining year is the budget. So if our actuals are actuals, and if we hit our budget number for the end of the year, we can forecast that total number for the whole year. That's one way to forecast. Other people like to forecast in other ways where they'll change different things, and we'll go into some of the scenarios now where you can put in multiple kind of budget scenarios or even forecasts and be able to forecast what you want to do based on copying a mixture of actuals and some budget numbers and some numbers that you anticipate through some mathematical calculations. So that being said, once you have this budget in place, you can save that budget that we just worked on now into different scenarios. I can add a new scenario. Here at Third Wave, we adjust our scenarios after quarter one, after quarter two. We'll adjust the rest of the year. If we're having a better year than thought, we'll up the estimates, and if we're having a worse year than thought, we'll flatten out the estimates a little bit. But at the end of the day, what you'll see is by best case, goal, worst case, quarter two, forecast, you name it, we can add those scenarios. Come in here, I can edit scenarios. If I wanted to edit this scenario, instead of calling it quarter two, I'll call it try to, and we can certainly save it out or add new ones on or whatever we want to do in order to make that work for us. So you can see these things are in place. Once you save a scenario, save my current scenario, I'll make it my quarter two scenario. I'll say select. And you sure you want to save this scenario over quarter two? I do. And as fast as that, my quarter two scenario gets saved out, and that's my new number for the year. So again, we do about 2 or 3 different scenarios here at Third Wave. We have other customers that do a lot of different scenarios. And one of the things I didn't show you is the ability to drill down. Once you have these things in place, you can drill down by everything that we give you. So if you want to see it by month, you can come back here and see the goal by month, and it tells you all the different revenue types by month down the side. I can continue to drill down, and this is inherent in every screen. To natural account, if I wanted to see what the natural accounts are, and this will blow up, and this will bring up all the different natural accounts and what they equal for us, and give you all that information. The natural accounts look a little funny because it's only the description. So if I come to the axis here and I change the default to the code and the description, I can come back here and it changes it. And now you'll see the actual account number and then the description for the account. So it gives you the ability to do a lot of different things and show things a lot of different ways. Once that's done, go back home. And again, we built these screens as starting points for folks. But if we wanted to look at the budget versus actual, so here's the budget revenues versus the actuals. You can drill down into those. You can show what the revenues are, by each piece. And since these colors are a lot alike, you just click on them and it pulls out the piece for you. Again, if you wanted to click down, you can click down in the charts also and do it by quarter, by year, by week, all the different components of it. So that drill down's available everywhere. Charts and grids, so it gives you the ability to do it, all of this, anytime you want. These little drop downs give you the ability to change from year to year, month to month. I can make these little drop downs for almost anything to filter out information. But again, just a quick way to be able to look at your information and look at the P&L versus the actuals. If I wanted to put a change in there, what's the difference? I could certainly just quickly put another column in there. I'll call it change. Quick show you how this works. I can type. I will call this column algorithm, and I will say it's going to be the difference between column B minus column A. So I'm going to take the actuals in column B here, and I'm going to subtract the budget in column A, or I could do it the other way around. I'll leave it like this for now. We'll say OK. And then what you'll see here is we have the change on this side, and you'll be able to see that that's the delta. And the delta fits through everything. So you'll be able to look at it all, and minimize this a little bit. You'll be able to see those changes happen for everything. So simple as that, and it can be changed for you as simple as that also. So there's plenty of things you can do with the software. That being said, I'm going to keep moving ahead for us. We're going to look at some of the financials. So I do want to have some time at the end of this for questions and answers. So on the financial component of this, what we typically do, and we put this in here, is when you're talking about financials or anything, we pull some data out of SAP, and that data can be actuals, it could be the GL chart of accounts, it could be cost centers if that's what you do, it can be customers, it could be a lot of different things that you'll see in some of these reports. And what we do is we can time those to run on a nightly basis, twice a day, however often we want to update from SAP. But we can also give people a button to click. And my controller, at the end of the month when he's making the final adjustments, journal entries, he wants to update those financials to make sure that they're right. So we don't want them to have to wait till an hour or till tonight or however often it's updated automatically. So we give people the ability to click and update these things. But in this example, I'm just going to bring these right into a trial balance. Again, we have it by year. This is consolidated trial balances across 2 companies, and what it does is it allows you to see everything, from the assets to the liabilities and all the way down. And you'll see that I started messing with some of these numbers, so you'll see some of my financials don't really tie out because I've done so many demonstrations and I've set up some numbers for other things. So I apologize for that. But what you'll see is you'll have all this data, and you'll be able to see the data. You have some choices about how you want to see the data come out of SAP, as positive or negatives. Some people like to leave them in as they are. As they come out of SAP, some people like to flip them so it makes more sense to the reader. That's also an option for this reporting system. So this allows you to see all of that components of it. Additionally, we have balance sheet that you can see, and the balance sheet will be nicer because when you talk about these types of things, we format them a little differently. So you'll see assets, total assets, liabilities, total liabilities. You can see the gray lines here. What this is year-to-date over previous year. You can do year-to-date monthly, and just wait over the month, and it gives you that nice, the nice layout of the colors. And this can obviously change any way you want. And then this is the raw data month by account that allows you just to pull that information in. And again, any of these things you can right mouse click and export to Excel. So a quick look at the income statement. Income statement has similar things where you're looking at this year versus prior year. And this one doesn't pick the year for some reason. But yep, so you can pick the year and it'll tell you the year versus previous year and then the deltas and allow you to see the changes across. And so this one needs to be expanded a little bit. But that being said, refresh the screen. That being said, this is all there. This is year-to-date monthly, so because income statements are kind of point in time, you'll see that these net incomes come in. I lost some money, I got it back, and it all adds up to this $476,000 number here. If I go into monthly, you'll be able to see the monthly components of it also. So you saw I lost $3,000, $151. I lost $4,000, and $41, and it adds all the way back up, and it adds up to $400,000 there. And this is the raw by account again. That gives you the ability to do some homework and look into different things here. Again, anytime you see an arrow, you have the ability to drill down. So that drill down can be a bunch of different things. So what I also want to show you is in our cash flow, the cash flow mapping, we can do this in a lot of different ways, but we can take these accounts and allow you to map certain things to those accounts and pick whatever accounts you want in your cash flow statement. So here's my, here's all my different accounts. Here's some prepaid stuff that we have. Here's depreciation expense, and a bunch of different things that we have in here. We can do this for groupings in your financial reports too, and a bunch of different things. But once you do that, all you do is you pick the account, and then here's my ADP fund, and I'm going to make sure that that's a some sort of an account that I want to have here, capital spending or liability or accounts payable or other assets, or wherever I want to categorize this. We can create as many categories as we want here. So we can do cash equivalents, wherever I want to put it. And once I put it there, now that when I map it back to my cash flow statement, it'll map to the place I want it to be. So here's a quick cash flow statement: operating activities, investment activities, financing activities, net increase, decrease in the number and what they are. Again, you can see the balance sheet numbers here. I got to take a year. Balance sheet numbers. So this way you can look at those as far as that's concerned. Your year-to-date income statement numbers. Get your cash flow. Here was your cash flow statement, 171. Here was your equivalents the year before, and here's what they are now. And what the differences are. So it gives you the ability to do this type of cash flow. Other people have asked us, can we do a cash flow projection? Absolutely. We just need to know what the basis is, whether it's your budget. We can look at your whatever you have budgeted for rent and payroll and all that stuff. We can certainly do forward-facing. Also, it's just not part of this package right now initially. I'm going to spend a few quick minutes on the last two components of it, and then we'll open it up for questions. So what we've also done is pulled some inventory information in, and some purchasing and sales and purchasing inventory, sales and purchasing information in too. So again, these by no means are an exhausting thing of reports, but these are the ones that come out of the box. We can talk about inventory costs per group. So here's components, the data cables group, by quarter, what they are, what kind of costs we're spending on each of the groups, on each of the quarters, and then if we wanted to drill down, we can drill down into any of them and look at the actual item codes themselves, and you'll be able to see that in those item codes, here are the components that we bought, kind of explode out what those item codes are in this one group, and you'll be able to see all the numbers crossed and even in the total department here. So that's one way to look at them, but there's all different ways you can kind of drill down and look at these things. Again, all this is in place. The important part to take away from this, though, is you can look at group, code, warehouse, and the changes over time is in the inventory cube. We've pulled a bunch of different things in place, and then I also threw this out here too. This is order efficiency that we put in place here for this, and it talks about each of the people and who they are, and the orders that they've done, and the order amount, how many changes that they've done to orders, and the order amounts, and then you can look at those order by order number. You can see how many order numbers sum up to those things, and you'll see that there's a lot of changes to a lot of different orders, and what those order amounts are by person. So it can kind of help you to understand where people are spending their time and how efficient they are. Here's one order that was touched 37 times. For $7,000, so versus some of the ones that were touched hardly any times for a lot more money. So something to think about. A different way to kind of look at pulling together your the data that comes out of this. And here's inventory quantity changes again, just so you understand that hey, you took a dip in inventory, then we spent some money and put it back in, and then and then here we are at the end of the year, we're $12,000 less in inventory than we were last year. So again, just the ability to look at things in a different way. We'll pull up the sales and purchasing cube. And here's sales and purchasing. Okay, and so it's sales by state, salesperson by item, purchase by item, and purchase by vendor. I like to look at the sales by salesperson. This is a neat little chart, kind of tells you what the sales quantity is, what the sales amounts are. If I hover over any of these, it tells me what it's paracords, it's what category of sale it's in, and who the salesperson is, and then also the amount, which is the 76,000 number, and the sales amount, which is $100,000 number. Again, if I want to drill into it, I can just click into it. Oh, let's click into it. Choose. I don't know how it was chosen before, but I can choose it by business partner. So who am I selling to? And it says customer one, customer, whatever we, have these customer names in here, what the sales amount is, and what the quantity is. So it gives you the ability to look at that all different ways. Rubber band feature allows you to drill down like this. I could just keep highlighting and just getting to the ones that I'm concerned about. And again, once I click into it, I can tell you who the customers are. So, is this the be-all, end-all of these reports? Absolutely not. This is just a first set of reports that we can, give you out of the box, and then you can start to run with these reports yourself. So it's relatively simple to build your own reports. It's all drag and drop, and it's something that accounting folks can get their hands around, and no real need for technical folks to be involved at all. So that being said, I'm just going to wrap up with a slide or two. This is what we provide out of the box to give you a head start. We pull all the information out, all the plumbing, I call it, that goes into pulling stuff out of SAP and putting it onto this desktop is there. The ability to show this also through a browser is there, and it's all again under one umbrella. So it's a great thing to be able to put in front of your executives and not have to say, oh yeah, but we need to buy this, oh we need to buy that for if you want to look at it over the browser, or you want to do something different, or you want to add data in, it's all once you buy it and buy the licenses, it's all done that way. For you folks on the phone, okay, so for you folks on the phone, again, my name is Mark Bresnak. Here's my contact information. If you're partners and you're on the phone, you want to get a hold of Gopal. And if there's any of our partners that have brought clients on, please contact your partner for a next step. But this is, these are the people you need to talk to. So if you're, one of the Third Wave clients, just contact me directly. If you're a partner, contact Gopal. There's his contact information. And if any of our partners have brought their clients on, please, make sure that you contact your partner, and they'll make sure they get you any questions answered. So that's all I have today. Craig, do we have any questions?
Yeah, we got a couple of questions asking if this will be available on demand, and we will send a link to this demo to you once we're able to upload it and get it available. One of the questions that just came in, can this include user-defined fields?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when we build this, we build it with all of the standard SAP fields in place. Some of the competing products out there have a limit, like you can do 2 or 3 or 4 fields or 10 fields, or they charge you more or whatever. There is no limit. This is not locked down. This is certainly just something that we built to help you get up to speed quickly and give you a starting point. And then we can certainly teach you to build your own screens and take ownership of this, which is one of the reasons we chose this product. Is a lot of our customers can really take ownership of this and run with it themselves.
Okay. Question that just came in, what are the basic differences between Board and SAP HANA?
There's a lot of similarities. They both are in memory, but the HANA stuff is a little bit, so when you talk about HANA, there's 2 pieces of HANA. One is just Business One running on HANA, and then the other one is Business One Analytics. and so I'll compare it to Business One Analytics because that's kind of closer to what it is. That allows you to pull information out and allows you to look at things on the HANA side and pull that information out and slice and dice it to some extent. What Board allows you to do, though, is it allows you to write data back in. You saw it in the budgeting component of it, where I can actually key data, budgeting data in. I can adjust budgeting data. I can do those types of things. I can put a process together. I can lock down screens after approvals happen. I can do all of those things that really just isn't part of HANA. And again, that's one of the reasons we chose this product. It's like an all-encompassing product. Once you buy it, you have all the tools you need to be able to build process-based budgeting and controls and those types of things. And it really just rides alongside of SAP. And what we've built helps it stay integrated very tightly.
Okay. The next question that came in, you mentioned that this is a prepackaged solution. Are we able to customize it on our own?
And the answer is absolutely yes. I think I said it a few times, but maybe I didn't say it right. This is meant to just get you up to speed quickly, and it's yours. It's yours to adjust, and it's yours to make your own. Everybody's different. I never expected anyone to take what we have and be like, yep, this is it, perfect, this is what we got. For the most part, some of the earlier questions, we want to do dynamic by customer, by month, by, we're a seasonal company. We can adjust those things. We can help you adjust those things. You can adjust those things eventually, and you can take ownership of it so it fits your business.
Okay, it looks like this might be the last question. What release level of SAP is required to run Board?
Right now, it runs with this prepackaged solution. It runs from 8.8, all the way up to 9.1. So, if you're on 2007, we probably need to make some adjustments. But I mean, Board itself can run with any of the versions. The prepackaged stuff that we've built, has been running for us and our customers from 8.8 to 9.1.
Okay, it looks like that's all the questions we have for now. If something comes in, we will respond to you after the event, and we will get a copy of the link to the on-demand version to you as soon as possible.
Thank you, folks. Have a great day.